Robert Hayes adjusted his worn baseball cap as he waited in the airport terminal, watching his 8-year-old daughter Emma color quietly in her book. At 52, the lines around his eyes told stories of desert deployments and sleepless nights as a single father. His graying beard was neatly trimmed, a habit from his Marine days that he'd never quite shaken. The announcement crackled over the intercom. Flight 447 to Denver was now boarding first-class passengers. Robert looked down at their upgraded tickets, a rare treat he'd splurged on for Emma's first airplane ride to visit her grandparents. As they approached the gate, Robert noticed a woman ahead of them struggling with her boarding pass. She wore a wide-brimmed hat and long sleeves despite the summer heat, moving carefully as if every step required thought. When she turned slightly, Robert caught a glimpse of scarred skin along her neck and hands. "Daddy, why is that lady wearing so many clothes when it's hot?" Emma whispered. Robert knelt down to Emma's level. "Sometimes people have reasons we don't understand, sweetheart. The kind thing is to treat everyone with respect." The woman ahead fumbled with her documents, clearly distressed. The gate agent's voice grew impatient as the line backed up behind her. "Ma'am, I need to see your identification clearly," the agent said, louder than necessary. Robert stepped forward. "Excuse me," he said gently to the woman. "Is everything all right?" The woman looked up and Robert saw intelligent brown eyes filled with embarrassment. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "My hands don't work quite the same anymore. House fire last year." Without hesitation, Robert said, "Here, let me help with those papers." As he organized her documents, he noticed her ticket showed a middle seat in coach. The gate agent processed her ticket with barely concealed irritation. "Next," she called curtly. Robert handed over his and Emma's first-class tickets, but as the agent processed them, he made a decision that would have surprised his younger self. "Actually," he said, "I'd like to change something." Minutes later, Sarah Mitchell found herself being escorted to seat 2A first class, while Robert and Emma settled into her original seats in row 23. Emma didn't complain, too excited by the airplane's magic to care where they sat. "Why did you give away our good seats, Daddy?" Emma asked as they buckled in. Robert thought for a moment, remembering his own mother's words from decades past. "Sometimes the right thing isn't the easy thing, Emma. That lady needed kindness more than we needed extra legroom." The flight passed peacefully. Emma pressed her face to the window, marveling at clouds that looked like cotton balls. Robert dozed fitfully, his mind wandering to memories of his late wife Maria, who had always said his heart was too big for his own good. They landed in Denver as the sun painted the mountains gold. Robert was gathering their belongings when a flight attendant approached. "Excuse me, sir. The woman in first class asked me to give you this." Robert unfolded a handwritten note on airline stationery. "Thank you for your kindness. In a world that often looks away, you chose to see me. Your daughter is lucky to have such a father. With gratitude, Sarah Mitchell." Emma read over his shoulder, sounding out the words, "That's nice, Daddy." "Yes, it is, sweetheart." They collected their bags and took the shuttle to the rental car lot, then drove the winding mountain roads to Robert's childhood cabin. His father had built it with his own hands in 1975, and it remained their family refuge. The next morning, Emma was feeding chipmunks on the deck when an unusual sound echoed through the valley. Robert looked up from his coffee to see a green helicopter approaching, its rotors beating a rhythm he recognized from his military days. "Daddy, is that a really big helicopter?" The aircraft circled once before landing gracefully in the meadow beside their cabin. Robert stood slowly, his military instincts alert but not alarmed. The door opened, and a familiar figure in a crisp uniform stepped out. Colonel James Morrison had been Robert's commanding officer in Afghanistan. Now at 58, he carried the bearing of someone who'd earned every star on his collar. "Bob Hayes," Morrison called out, striding toward the cabin. "Permission to come aboard this mountain retreat of yours?" Robert grinned, the first genuine smile in weeks. "Granted, sir, though I'm curious about the dramatic entrance." Emma peeked out from behind her father, wide-eyed at the sight of the helicopter and the stern-looking officer. Morrison's expression softened as he approached. "Yesterday, a story reached my desk about a Marine veteran who gave up his first-class seat to help a burn survivor. Seems this woman, Sarah Mitchell, has some connections in Washington." Her late husband was General William Mitchell. Robert's eyebrows rose. He remembered General Mitchell, a decorated Vietnam veteran who died in a car accident the previous year. She made some calls, Morrison continued. Wanted to make sure your act of kindness was recognized properly. The colonel reached into his jacket and withdrew an official document. Robert Hayes, by order of the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, you are hereby awarded the Citizen Service Medal for exemplifying the highest values of service and compassion. Emma clapped her hands as Morrison pinned the medal to Robert's flannel shirt. There's more, Morrison said, his voice warming. Mrs. Mitchell also wanted you to know that she's been looking for purpose since her recovery. She's decided to start a foundation helping burn survivors with travel accommodations. She wants to call it the Hayes Foundation for Traveling Kindness. Robert felt his throat tighten. Colonel, I just gave up a seat. Anyone would have done the same. No, Bob, not everyone would have. That's what makes it matter. As the helicopter prepared to leave, Morrison placed a hand on Robert's shoulder. Take care of yourself, Marine. And that little girl of yours. The world needs more people who choose kindness when no one's watching. Emma waved enthusiastically as the helicopter lifted off, disappearing over the pine-covered ridges. That evening, as they sat on the cabin's porch watching fireflies dance in the gathering dusk, Emma curled up against her father's side. Daddy, do you think that lady is happy now? Robert adjusted the medal on his shirt, thinking of Sarah Mitchell and the foundation that would help others travel with dignity. He thought of his late wife, who would have been proud of the lesson Emma had learned about kindness. I think she's finding her way to happy, sweetheart. Sometimes when we help others, we help ourselves too. Emma nodded sagely as if this made perfect sense in her 8-year-old world, like when you helped her and then the helicopter man helped you. Exactly like that, Emma. Kindness has a way of coming back around. As the stars emerged overhead, Robert held his daughter close, understanding that the simple act of caring for a stranger had somehow brought him full circle to a truth his wife had always known. In a world that can be harsh and unforgiving, choosing gentleness is not weakness but the greatest strength of all. The mountain air carried the scent of pine and possibility, and for the first time since Maria's passing, Robert felt a quiet certainty that they were exactly where they needed to be.